I started getting tattooed because I was involved with an apprentice tattooist at the time. I'd always had a fascination with tattoos, but I'd never actually taken the plunge, so to speak. And I found at that period particularly, I started getting incredibly vivid dreams about people that were heavily tattooed, people with tattooed faces, and without sort of going into all that too deeply, it felt that there was a sort of a non-human, a sort of a supernatural, if you will, element to me getting involved in tattoos. There's been points over the years, especially in the early years, where I get frustrated and I think I'm done with tattooing, I'm not going to get any more. But I would always find that there would be a new opportunity to be tattooed, that something outside of me would always pull me back towards it. I'd say I've probably got about 40% coverage now. So I've been being tattooed 10 years, maybe in another 10 years, I'll be completely covered in tattoos, I don't know. My first tattoo was the half moon on one of my toes, and it didn't quite work. A lot of the ink actually fell out and had to be touched up again later, and it was incredibly painful. There's much more symbolic stuff going on with these ones than there are on the rest of me. First tattoo that I got on the underside of my hand was this diamond, and I've always had money problems. And so I thought about this. So I thought, well, I'd rather than a dollar sign or a pound sign, I'd rather have diamond, which is it's a symbol of riches, but it's also a symbol of beauty under pressure and all these different things. So it kind of, like, the diamond to me kind of meant the same thing, but was a bit more poetic, if you will. The JKSW is for Johnny Kowalski and the Sexy Weirdos, which is my band. I'm Johnny Kowalski. And again, there's a bit of a control symbolism going on there. It's like if I've got them tattooed there, I can always keep them in the palm of my hand. I personally much prefer being hand-poked to machine tattoos, partly because of the pain thing. I find the level of pain is a lot easier to cope with hand-poked tattoos. Also, I don't really like the noise of a tattoo machine, that constant like whine. It's a bit like the dentist drill. The other nice thing about hand-poked tattoos is you can do them anywhere. You don't need electricity, all you need is light, really. This little tear here was done when I was on tour with my band in Europe a couple of years ago. We were on an 18-hour journey to the south of France, and about 14 hours in, got bored, got my hand-poked tattoo kit out and did this little tear on my finger here. And there's a part in the set where I always go like this, so it's like a little bit of a stage affectation, because it's a nice little memento of a really great time of my life. And it didn't get infected, there was no problems. There's another side to tattooing, and that is the fact that nowadays people can buy the equipment very cheaply off eBay and sites like that and do tattoos at home. And obviously that implies quite a lot of risk, and it implies things could go wrong. You know, you might end up with a tattoo you hate, you might get infected. But I would always argue for home tattooing, and I will always argue that people should be able to buy tattoo supplies freely. I see it as a human right, you know. There's absolutely tons of tattooists out there now that they're famous, they're influential, they're well paid, and they started off basically by buying some stuff off eBay and doing it in their front room. My sort of bigger vision of tattooing and what tattooing is that I think it's culture, it's a human, it's a natural part of human society, as, like I was saying, making music or storytelling or, I don't know, films, and maybe even more so, more intrinsic. I don't think anybody has the right at any point to say that these tattoos are correct, these tattoos are verboten.